Hey guys, your bro is back with the first video of the series, and in today's video we'll see how you can model this pawn piece. Head towards the Womp website and click on new and new 3D project. So you will get this default scene. Delete the default scene and add a reference image. So I have given the link to the reference image in the description, so you can download the image from there and import it into Womp. We'll start modeling the pawn from the bottom. To grab a cylinder from objects menu, change the units to millimeter for the project. Decrease the dimension of the base cylinder to around 25. Make sure that these dimensions are close to real life sizes. Also decrease the cylinder height to around 5 to 6 to make that pawn base shape. Now increase the roundness on the base shape to give that soft rounded look. Now duplicate the base shape by pressing Ctrl plus D on Windows and Command plus D on Mac. Increase the height of duplicated cylinder slightly and increase the goop a little. What is goop? So goop is how an object blends with another object and it affects each and every other element which is above the object that have goop property. So play slightly with the goop value of the duplicated object to give that carved look, and also experiment with the roundness of the base shape. So I'm going with this 100%, so giving this a complete rounded look for the base. Now duplicate the second cylinder and also decrease its dimension and increase its height a little. Adjust the goop for that soft blending between the objects. I would suggest go with smaller values for goop. Don't go for big values. And here I later decided to increase the goop a little and go for a more rounded look for the base. Now moving to the middle section of the piece, grab a curve from objects menu. Rotate the curve 90 degrees. Hold shift while rotating in 45-degree angle. Now scale the curve from the center and place roughly on the base. The default primitive for the curve is pair, so change that to cylinder. So now this curve has 2 points and each point is a cylinder, and currently it is horizontal. So make both the points vertical. Now shrink the size of whole curve roughly to the size of the middle section of the piece. Now grab the lower point of the curve and scale it down. So as you can see in the reference image, the piece is thicker at the bottom and it becomes thin as it goes upward. And decrease the goop as low as to around 4 to 5 for the curve. Now reposition the curve and increase the size of the bottom cylinder. Also adjust the scale for 0.1. So as you can see now, we are roughly getting close to our middle section of the piece. You can also change the height and roundness of these points individually as your liking. I'm going for 100% for the bottom point, giving it a soft look, and also decreasing the distance between 0.1 and 0.2, making it roughly close to our reference image. Now moving on to the upper section of the piece. Now duplicate the cylinder and scale it down slightly to make the neck of the piece. Duplicate the neck and slightly increase its height. Scale the upper neck a little and duplicate the upper neck. After duplicating, choose sphere primitive from the properties panel in the right side and scale it down to make the head of the piece. Now select all the elements inside the area. Select the first element, hold shift, and then select the last element. Go to function and click align. Click the center button to align all the elements vertically. And we have modeled the pawn piece successfully. Now we'll move onto the materials. Select any object from the piece. Choose material from the properties panel on the right. Hit duplicate and give your material a name. So I am going with this blue chess piece and choose a color. So you can copy this hex code. So I am going with this soft light blue color. Now to make this in a glass piece, increase the glass to make the translucency to 1 and decrease the roughness slider. Select all the other objects and go to the materials and click on the material that we have created. Now for quick lighting, go to environment light on the right and choose any HDRI. So I'm going with this Studio One. Turn off the grid from the properties panel in the right and choose a nice backdrop color. So I'm going with this soft gray color. Also you can tweak the HDRI rotation and its luminance according to your liking. And at the end, don't forget to rename your layers. And that's how you create a pawn piece in Womp. Don't worry about the lighting. So I have done a custom lighting on this pawn shape. We'll see that in the future lecture. So for now, that's it in this video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.